Hey guys, Crystal here from Elite Hair KUSA. So my client came in today who has a severe case of alopecia that is scarred in some areas and some areas is not scarred. But she came in wanting to do a weave, but she also wanted to blend in her hair in the back of her head with the weave, and it was for a short style. So you guys get to see everything from start to finish. First, we started off by doing a preliminary cut in the nape area and also near the occipital bone, and then I went ahead and relaxed that hair. Now, in previous videos, you guys saw that I would relax all of the hair, but in her case, I didn't need to relax the hair on the top or in the crown because it wasn't going to be used for any purpose in regards to what I'm doing, and it wouldn't really hinder the process of what I'm doing. So I decided not to relax that area. You could relax it. You don't necessarily have to just leave it out, but I just chose to leave it out in this instant. So after the area is relaxed, I went ahead and started the haircut, which is just only in the nape. Now, for this to work, you do want to make sure that that area blends very, very well. So we are basically doing somewhat of a shortcut, if you want to call it that, or a pixie cut. And we are using, what hair she does have to basically blend in with the style itself. Now, for her top area, all I did was just basically trim the hair just to get it, it's not going to be amazingly healthy, but you can at least trim the area if you're going to keep it. So I'm using a little bit of our Elite Silk Wrap Foam to mold the top area. Now, this area is actually going to be covered with the liquid growth or liquid silicone base. And then it is actually going to be more like kind of like a medium tapered bob or whatever you want to call it. So to create the area or get that area prepared, I did go ahead and start with the wrap foam to get it soft and laid down. And now I'm using a little bit of Pro styling gel. This is going to be one barrier of our protectant, and then I will put the end papers over this area as well. As you guys know, I like to put barriers of protection on the hair before I actually do the liquid cap base, because one thing that I did notice over the years, the liquid cap base, when used on the hair by itself with no protectant or no slip or anything of that sort, I did find that it did take hair out at the same time and it's supposed to be ironically protecting the hair. So this was a technique that I learned, and I would never stop doing this portion of the technique because I really think that it's very important to protect the hair regardless of what the client has going on. And we also want to protect the scalp at the same time. So I'm going back over it with a little bit of styling gel, and then I'm going to wrap her sides and her back as though I would be doing for a regular style. And she'll go under the dryer and dry thoroughly because we need the gel area to dry, and then we also need the nape of her neck and occipital bone area to dry as well. And then we will start the process of applying her weave. Now, I'm putting papers on the back of her head, not for the weaving purpose, but to keep that area down so that she can dry and it stays down. So now the area is thoroughly dry. I did put the growth protect solution on there already. That's why you see it nice and shiny looking. And then I can put the glue on there directly because it is actually already protected and it's not actually touching her hair in respects to the area that has the paper or doesn't have the paper. So the solution is already on her head. So we are doing a piano color, which is what I call it. Companies call it different, but this is the color that she chose. Now, this can work on anybody, guys. I don't have to necessarily make it a short style, but when the client comes in with the request that they want it to be a short style, that's what we do. So you want something that they're going to be able to manage and something that is going to suit their personality, in which for her, she wanted to keep some length. She didn't want necessarily a full-on shortcut in regards to the weave area. So we're using the longer hair and going to give her the illusion of kind of like a bowl with a little more definition. Let's say it that way. So when it came on to this top area, I did have to actually split the tracks. So this is not just the double weft track that comes in the package. When you're doing something like this and you are trying to create the illusion that, it's somewhat of the client's hair. We know this is not her hair, but I don't want it to be very bulky and I don't want to see a lot of bumps and lumps. So I did split the tracks before I used them, for the purposes of making this install nice and flat and look a little more natural. And when you don't split the track, you run that risk of it being really spacey, because you're trying to take out some of that volume, and then it's going to be a lot lumpier, and just you're going to work a lot harder. So for stuff like this, I do like to split the weft. When we say split the track, we mean split the actual weft that's holding the hair. It comes with two wefts put together, if you don't know anything about weave. So we went ahead and finished out putting the tracks on, or laying the hair on, and then I went ahead and closed it off. Now with the closure, I do the technique with the scissors, where I kind of wheel it around the scissors and then do the closure. Everybody does it in a different way. With pack hair of the length that she brought, it does not come with a closure piece. So as a stylist, you do have to create your own closure, which is really, really easy, but everybody does it in a different fashion. I like to do it this way. I learned to do it this way years ago, where you just basically wheel it around on the scissors and create that closure, and then lay everything in at one time. So that part works for me. However it works for everybody else, you have really a choice of how you want to do it. One thing I can say with this, the scissors can't be extremely sharp, because every time you try to put the scissors on the weft, it will cut it. So this is not my extremely sharp scissors. These are some dull scissors, and you want to make sure that you're very careful, because keep in mind, you do have a pair of scissors pointed down on your client's skull. Okay, so don't put a lot of pressure. I know you know that already, but it's something that you definitely want to say. All right, so now the hair is all laid, and one of the tracks did come loose for some strange reason. And then we are now going to start the cut process. I'm using the razor comb for this. The reason why I'm not really using my shears at this very moment is because I'm trying to, give it more texture so that it will blend better with her hair in the back of her head. When you use the shears, it can create that blunt line if you don't know how to do it. But for weave, I do prefer the weave comb. I feel like it does give a better texture to the hair than shears would. And then the lawn man decided he wanted to cut the grass while I'm doing my live. So sorry if you hear the lawn in the background. Anyway, so we've already started the preliminary cutting. I did do some of it with my shears when it came on to, creating more layers, that kind of thing. You don't want to get too happy with the razor. The razor, if really, really sharp, can create a line that you don't even want. So be very careful when you're using the razor, especially when you're using it with your client. It's so easy to go really, really fast, and you can end up cutting your client. You can end up cutting the wrong area of the head, everything. So now I'm using the shears just to create some layers and add a little more detail and definition to the actual style. If you notice, I really didn't even have to touch the back of her head, because that area was already cut before we did the laying down of the hair itself. So that made it really, really easy. Instead of me having to go through and try to cut her hair and then blend her hair, I rather blend the weave with her hair than try to blend her hair with the weave, if that makes sense. So, the goal, of course, is to make the weave work for you and not, tear her hair apart trying to make it blend in with the weave. If the weave can't blend in with her hair, then you need to find a weave or extension that is better suited for your client's hair. For stuff like this, I do prefer buying the hair for my client, but she already had her own. It did work. I'm not saying that it didn't, but in some instance, I like to buy the hair for my client, because I know the type of hair that I want to use, and I know the type of hair that usually works with what we're doing here. So for her area in the back, I just went ahead and edged that area up. It was really, really easy. Her hair was already kind of in the shape for what we're doing now anyway. And this was just something that I feel like it really did just bring her to life. I just thought it brought her to life. Going forward for the next style that we're going to be doing, I'm actually going to be doing an illusion part on her, so she'll have a actual part instead of using the weave as the part. So what I just did was put some of our Elite Silk wrap foam on the hair at the top to help to make that closure area and all the hair mesh together. I usually would put more foam on the back of the head, but for this case, I did not need to. But if you want it to blend a little bit better or to lay down, you can use the foam where you have the transition of the weave and of her, or the transition between the weave and her hair. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. So I'm using my H2 Pro Titanium flat iron to go through and just curl her hair really quickly. I'm not giving her a lot of layers in the back, but I am using diagonal partings because it's going to create somewhat of layering and feathering anyway. So I will let you guys just watch the finished style. I didn't add any music because YouTube just does not like me for some reason whenever I add music, even when it's supposed to be royalty free. So for this video, I'm not going to add any music, but I'm just going to let you guys see the outcome. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Please don't forget to also thumbs up this video if you like this video. And tell me what you thought about this actual style on her in respects to the length and the cut, that kind of thing, and what we had to do to get her to this point. I know that it came out awesome, but I'd also like to hear from you guys of how awesome you thought it was. And then, of course, my client was not going to show her face, so we used our face shield, which I'm still working on getting a decorative face shield. If anybody knows anyone, please comment them down below. I'd like to support one of my fellow business people so that we are able to still brand Elite Hair Care, but at the same time, pay respects to my client's privacy, and also thank her for allowing me to film her because she did not want to be on camera, and I asked her if it was okay if we covered her face, would it be okay? So she said yes, it was okay. But I guess I kind of talked through the area that I was going to allow you to actually just watch, so you can see the finished style. Tell me what you think. I think it blended really, really well. The color was really good with what she had. And we did actually color her area in the nape area as well. I forgot to mention that. We used a semi-permanent color and it did cover very well. The semi-permanent color that I used for that area is the Bigen or Bigen, B-I-G-E-N. It comes in a gold bottle, not the box. The box is permanent, but it came out really, really good. So I am going to let you guys tell me what you think. She thought it was great, but I asked her to give me